Welcome to a brand new series of Full Tilt Poker, Late Night Poker, where 48 of the world's best poker players are gathered in Cardiff to compete for a prize pool of $500,000. Let's see who's playing in the opening heat. A former Late Night Poker champion, it's never too serious when he's at the table. It's Irish legend Porrig Parkinson. Hit Squad member and one of the original November 9 at the World Series of Poker, UK hotshot James Aikenhead. Roberto Romanello. Despite being a poker professional, he still finds time to help out at his parents' fish and chip shop in Swansea. In seat 4, originally from Poland, now living in North Carolina, it's World Series of Poker bracelet winner Michael Gratz. She's a mother, businesswoman, philanthropist, and successful poker player to boot. From New York, it's Beth Shack. And tonight's online qualifier, hoping to beat the big boys and girls under the bright studio lights, Toby Lewis. I'm Richard Orford, and joining me for this poker journey tonight is the man from Dallas, Mr. Omaha himself, Robert Williamson III. Cracking lineup. What are your first impressions of it, Robert?
I'll tell you what, these are some really tough customers. I mean, all these heats are tough here, late night poker. This one, no exception to the rule, tough as nails.
Patient has to want to live as well.
Yeah. Roberto Romanello with halfway decent hand here. Ace-Jack of hearts.
Raise to 250.
Under the gun.
Pass.
I don't mind it at all.
Made it 2.5 times the big blind.
Call.
Shack calls. With
Pass.
pocket sixes.
Pass.
She has position on the original razors, so not a bad spot to see
now
a flop.
this is a potentially big hand. Very early doors in this tournament here because Mr. Aikenhead has got the best of it at the moment.
Yeah, but
Call.
I think he's just going to call there. See a flop.
3 players.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
it's worked a treat.
Look at this flop.
It's worked a treat.
Holy
this
moly.
is amazing because we have the nut flush draw for Robert.
And a gut shot straight as well.
Bet 600.
And of course, James Aikenhead has hit his set and he comes out firing.
You know, when a player leads into me like that,
Call.
I just flat. If he'd checked to me, I would have bet. But if he leads into me, I'm going to flat call right there.
2 players.
And
Oh
there
my
is the
gosh.
flush. And not just the flush,
full
it's the house.
for Aikenhead. Oh.
Are we going to see a very early departure here?
Check.
It's hard to believe that Roberto is still going to be in this game in approximately 2 minutes' time. He'll do very well to walk away from this hand with some chips still in front of him.
Well, he is taking a good while to consider his next play.
Check.
This just went check, check.
You do have to
What?
consider the possibility of a house when the board is paired up.
Check.
Oh, Roberto's trapping. This is purely a trap. Roberto's going to bet about 1,200 here, see if he can get paid off. And then when he faces a big re-raise, then he's going to have a really tough decision.
Bet 1,450.
Well, that's a big bet. Who's trapping who here?
Raise to 4,200. 5,200.
Roberto's heart skips a few beats there. Does he think he's trapped his customer? Does he think he's about to get paid off?
Well, I'll say this for Roberto. If he can get away from this hand with any chips left at all, he's played it quite well.
Here's the question for you, Robert. What hand could James possibly have that Roberto would be beating here?
Another flush. I mean, easily could be up against another flush. That's what Roberto's trying to figure out right now. Am I up against a set that turned into a full house, or am I against a flush? If I'm up against another flush, the Roberto might raise. This could be like all in. One of the first hands of the whole match.
Pass.
Wow!
What a laydown!
Are
What
you
a
kidding
laydown.
me?
That is incredible. I don't know whether that's good or bad. We can see by the cards that it's a sensational laydown, but when you hit the nut flush,
I can just tell you right now, I've seen Roberto make some incredible folds. I've seen him fold the full house before. So I'm not shocked, but that was one great fold right there. He got the minimal amount of damage.
that was the laydown of the century. James Aikenhead, the only British player to reach the November 9 final table at the 2009 WSOP. Started the final table with the least amount of chips and was knocked out in 9th place. However, Robert, becoming 9th, he won $1.2 million. Now, that's what I call a very nice 9th.
Yeah, that I could deal with finishing 9th in that situation. At least 1.2 million reasons why I could deal with it.
There's Roberto Romanello, the local boy.
Raise to 250.
Raises it up with the King 10 suited.
I like that raise from the cutoff, King 10.
Re-raise to 800.
Michael Gratz is all about the aggression tonight. He folds or he raises. He's not a man to call. How'd you like your King 10 now, Roberto?
I bet he thinks, I wish I'd picked another hand to do this on. I suspect we won't get to see a flop on this one. I'd be surprised at Roberto. I mean, how could he call with a King 10 here when he lays down the nut flush earlier? I mean, maybe it's just me, but it just doesn't seem logical.
I'm still reeling from that hand. That was a sensational laydown from him.
Of course, what do I know?
Yeah, and he's mixing it up.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh, and look at this flop. Wow, what a monster flop for Roberto's hand.
Check.
Second pair for Michael Gratz, but an open end, straight, and a flush draw for Roberto Romanello.
Hasn't hit, though, on the turn. So now does he want to build this pot up? He's got lots of outs, of course.
I would bet something like close to pot here, or nothing at all. I check or bet a lot.
Bet 1250.
Perfect. I love that size bet.
Well, just the one over card for Michael Gratz, and other than that, you might think he's ahead here.
I'll tell you what card come on the river could be really bad, dangerous for these two players is an ace.
Call.
And there's the jack on the end, and Gratz has got this one locked up now.
And Roberto, such a big draw to start with. Didn't get there, but now, in addition to that, Michael Gratz makes 3 jacks on the river.
Question is Roberto going to lose some more in this pot?
Well, he can't win by checking, but the pot's too big now. It's 42.50. With Roberto's stack size, you have to bet at least 2,400 to give himself a chance to win this. I say he's going to just check this one down. Well,
then again, he's going for the reach, and he's deciding, he's weighing up his bets here.
Bet 2,750.
if Roberto would have led this flop and then led again on the turn, he might have took this pot down. I'm pretty sure he would have. Now, instead, he waited till the turn and the river. He's going to get called down.
Yeah, all in.
All in.
No surprises there. Our man, originally from Poland, Michael Gratz, sets
Pass.
Roberto in. He has to let it go. And it hasn't been the greatest start for the Welshman. Welcome back to Full Tilt Poker, Late Night Poker, where all 6 of our contenders in tonight's heat are still in action around the table. We haven't seen much of Beth Shack yet, so right now we're going to look at this hand from her point of view.
Pass.
Have you seen much of her on your travels?
I sure have. We're involved in a lot of charitable events together. I've played a lot of poker with her as well.
Raise to 300.
He says as he.
And let me tell you, she's got game.
Pass. Call.
Let's see if she can bring that game to this hand. Roberto Romanello has cranked it up to 300.
Pass.
And Shaq calls him there with the 8s.
On the button, too, in position. I like it so far.
What kind of flop does Shaq want to see here?
8 high, preferably.
Well, if not 8 high, then just the 1 over card is not too bad for pocket 8s.
Yeah, but it's a coordinated flop. 4, 7, 10 with 2
Bet
spades.
350.
That's a scary flop. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I would just peel a card off here. I'd call this bet and see what comes on the turn.
I don't think she should ask the question now. Find out where she's at by raising it up.
No, I prefer the safe play. See a clean card come off there. Something that doesn't look scary.
Raise to 1,000.
Well, the only problem with raising there is now she can get
Raise
pushed
all
off her
in.
hand, and he raises.
I think it's like pennies more. It's not much more.
So, what does Beth Shaq put Romanello on here?
Well, she's probably going to deduct that he has an overpair to the board.
2,600.
But I'm going to say he could easily have 2 overcards to the board and a flush draw.
Shaq folds it. Let's find out what Romanello had. And he'd hit the set.
He didn't have a drawing hand. He had a made hand.
He was monstrous there.
And he shows a 4 just to kind of tease Bev Shaq. But Bev Shaq ended up making a good laydown.
You used to play like that? Yeah, you used
Michael
to.
Gratz still out ahead here with the blinds at $100 and $200.
You won a tournament.
Berto Romanello,
It's easier
who
to play blind, Paddy.
has an active role in his family's fish and chips restaurant in Wales, which has been thriving for over 30 years now.
And I'll have to say, they got some good food there. I've eaten there a couple times. I kind of like food to begin with, but I can tell you, I can vouch for them. They can really cook, that Romanello family. His mama Maria, oh, what a fabulous, fabulous cook and lady she is.
Sound like you've been there quite a few times there, Robert.
Not enough. That's all I can tell you. Not enough.
Michael Gratz then, once again, raises up with King 10. And Aikenhead, who's dominated, has suited cards. Might fancy a little look at the flop here.
We raised to 1,500.
No, he's come back over the top. And I think this is the way to tackle Michael Gratz.
So far, it has been working, but eventually,
Call.
he's going to bow his neck up, and he has. This comes a king-high flop. It could be interesting.
2 players.
Nothing for no one really on that flop.
Yeah, James Aikenhead's actually in a kind of a tough position here. Michael Gratz pretty quickly called that re-raise. I don't know if Aikenhead could lead into him or not.
Bet 1,800.
1,800 into a $3,100 pot. Kind of puts Michael in a tough spot. Michael floats it, then he's going to have a tough time taking it down. But if he raises, it's a significant percentage of his stack.
Raised to 4,100.
Incredible.
And he makes a play back at James Aikenhead.
This is different gravy, isn't it? Because
This is poker at the highest level. You got to love that. I'm love just watching this.
this is amazing stuff from Michael Gratz. He just has a read here on the situation that many people wouldn't have. He knew exactly where he was. Didn't give Aikenhead any credit whatsoever for that bet. Straight back over the top with total